So here we are again. I'm doing a little more coloring. I'm kind of getting addicted to this, I think. The pattern is on the back of my fabric. I ironed it on using freezer paper. And if you had any questions about that, I do have a video on how to do that. And this will help stabilize the fabric when I color. So this little robin, I used the sienna brown, and I just went very lightly over the whole thing. And then I went back like by the back of the wing there on his tail and made that a little darker, and then under the wing a little bit darker, just to give it a little bit more dimension. That's the word I'm looking for. And I think he's going to also need just a little bit of a yellow beak. There we go. So now he's ready to fix with the jacquard textile fixative. And I use a brush that is kind of stiff. It's not too pointy. It's just an inexpensive craft brush. And I'm going to start with the little yellow beak because I'm not going to pick up very much color there, so I won't have to wash my brush in between. And then I'm going to do the bird, and you just want to apply just a thin coat. And that textile medium lasts a long time. And I found mine on Amazon, but most not quilt shops, most craft stores will have it also. So I'm just going to go over the browns. And this stuff does change the color just a little bit. It makes it, and it intensifies it just a tad, but not much. But if you have a question before you start on the color, you can always just do a little swatch in one corner and then apply the fixative to see if that's actually the color you want or not, because it does change it just a little bit. And then usually I would say go wash your paintbrush out, but these colors are so similar, I'm just going to use the same brush without washing it out. Not that they're similar. Oops, see, I got a little red up here. But actually I kind of like that. One thing I've learned in all my years is accidents, I don't know. I don't know if they're really accidents or if they're actually meant for a reason. They don't bother me. They used to. I used to say bad words, but I don't do that anymore. All right, now this little guy is ready to stitch up. And I like just a little bit of color on that. But you could go ahead and color the leaves in green and just do an outline around them. I think I'm going to fill them in just because I really like taking my time and filling things in. And we'll see where this one goes. I started doing the stitching on this one, and most of it is a stem stitch, all the solid lines like usual, and the leaves are going to be a fish bone stitch, so I will show you that. But right now I want to show you the roof of the little birdhouse. First thing I did was a simple stem stitch all the way around, and then I made these vertical lines, and they're not perfectly straight with each other, and that's okay because I wanted it to be kind of a woven patchy look to the roof. So after you do these vertical lines, you do the horizontal lines, and you're going to weave them. So this stitch on this first row of horizontal lines went over this one, so now it's going to go under that one, and we're just going to alternate. So it's just a basket weave, up and down, up and down. And sometimes if you have a large area like this, it is a good idea to use a hoop, but I'm just going to be careful and not pull it too tight. And it just kind of, it adds a little bit of a texture. I like that. It's simple, but it's kind of fun to do too. So the leaves are filled in using a fishbone. So the way I like to do a fishbone, we'll start with this one here, is you start at the very tip of the leaf, and then you just take one long stitch right down the center. Now I'm going to bring the needle up just on one side and on the drawn line of the leaf. The center line is going to be your guide because you're going to cross over each side to alternating stitches. So the first stitch we're going to cross over and go down about 1/4 of an inch and then come up on the other side of that center line on the drawn line of the leaf. Now we do the same thing. We just cross over the center line, go down about 1/4 of an inch, come up on the drawn line. And each time you're just going to move farther down and come up on the outside. And it forms a nice little center vein, kind of. Not as pronounced as a fly stitch leaf, but it does do a neat little kind of woven look down the center. And then as you come to the base, you're just going to continue, and then if you have to get all the way to the bottom so that you're covering up the last little bit of that initial stitch, just bring it down there. And then I also wanted to point out on the bird, he's just stem stitched with a bunch of running stitches, and the eye is just 2 tiny little stitches like that. I haven't decided what to do on the beak yet. I will let you know on that. Another stitch on this one is a satin stitch. So it's used in just a few places. A couple of them are the chimney pieces and the door and the little windows. And the windows are only like 4 stitches right next to each other. Same with the chimney. And then the other place that the satin stitch is used are these little berries. So on the berries, what I do is start at the tip of the berry, go down to the base of the berry, and then I go on one side and down on that same side, and then I cross over to the other side. So I'm starting in the center and then working my way out. And these are small enough that they're really just maybe 5 stitches or 4. It varies a little bit on the size of the berry. So that's 4 stitches. It might be nice to have one more on this side, I guess. Kind of round it out. So after those are done, what I did is I came back with a green, and I'm just putting a little French knot. So let me show you a French knot real quick. You're just going to take your needle up at the top of one of the berries. And I just wanted a little tiny French knot. So this is just 1 wrap around my needle. So 1 wrap, put the needle down just like a thread away from where you brought it up. Pull that wrap down. Since it is 1 wrap, it will pull through to the other side if you pull it too tight. So you're just doing it snug, but you're not going to pull it, you're not going to go crazy. And that's a French knot. So I'll do one more over here so you can see again. So pull it up at the tip, and then we're going to wrap it 1 time. Put the needle down just like a thread away. And you don't really see it a whole lot, but it does add just a tiny little bit there that I like. This one is all finished, as you can see. And I decided to do the other option as a redwork pattern. So this is all using a DMC floss, and the thread color is noted on the pattern. I did everything the same, except I did not fill in the leaves. So if you would rather not do this fishbone stitch and you want to keep it simpler, then you can also just outline it using a stem stitch. Everything else I did the same. I still filled these little guys in with a satin stitch and the little French knot on the top. But I think it'd be really cute to do a whole series of them just in red work. I could see a little quilt just red and this linen colored would be really, really sweet. But I also am always drawn to the colored ones. So it's up to you how you're going to finish yours. I can't wait to see. Make sure you share pictures. Thank you so much, you guys. And I'll see you next month.